Sir, I rise to speak on the finance bill on behalf of my party, the All India Trinamool Congress. Sir, this finance bill, when it was presented on 1st February 2017 at 150 clauses, 7 schedules. But strangely enough, the finance minister, in a series of amendments received today, added 33 new clauses and 2 schedules. This is unprecedented, and we have already protested. The ruling party has done this after the UP victory. They think they can ride roughshod over all rules, conventions and procedures. Otherwise, I do not understand why in a bill, finance bill, which is supposed to detail the taxation proposals of the government, they have brought in the abolition or uniformization of the tribunals, which have no relation to taxation proposals directly. I may read names of some of the tribunals: Copyright Board, Railway Rates Tribunal, National Highways Tribunal, Cyber Appellate Tribunal, Competition Appellate Tribunal. This has no relation with taxation proposals, but still the finance minister has forcibly, riding roughshod over Article 110 of the Constitution and the traditions of the House, done all this. Now, as we know, that the taxation proposals mainly relate to the different taxes that we have in this country: corporation tax, income tax, customs, excise duty and service tax. Now, if you see the budget of this year, 19% of the income of the government comes from corporation tax, 16% from income tax, from customs 9%, from excise 14%, and service tax 10%. That means direct taxes are 35%, indirect taxes are 33%. Now, in a properly running economy, direct taxes should be much more than indirect taxes, because indirect taxes are basically inflationary. We find that in this budget, both are roughly equal. You also know, sir, that there is the Lafayette curve in economics, which says the higher the taxation rate, the lower the collection. There has been no significant effort to lower the taxation rate so that collections could be improved. The whole budget has been formulated in the backdrop of 2 important steps. One is the reckless demonetization ordered by the government on November 8th. The other is the shadow of the GST. But from this year, you know that GST is coming in force from 1st July 2017. Both excise duty and service tax will be subsumed within the GST. Now, the government has formed this budget with expectation that GST would give rise to better collection. The funding of such expenditure, government has increased money for infrastructure, etc. Now, where will the money come from? The funding of such expenditure seems to be left to the mercy of implementation of GST, which is likely to bring in more taxes to the centre and states, as also transfer of resources from the tax evaders to the government through demonetization. However, evidence from cross-country studies, so this is important, has pointed to the contractionary effects of GST in the short term, particularly in the year of imposition. Thus, tax revenue will be reduced. It is likely that tax revenue will fall this year. That's why Mr. Jaitley, sir, has not been revolutionary. Even with UP election, he was very careful to give things to the common people. He just gave a small concession on income tax. But people's expectation was that the exemption limit would be raised to 5 lakhs. He did not give that. The other thing, there was talk of farm loan waiver. The government has not given farm loan waiver. So the reason are two. The government had done a gambling. Demonetization was Mr. Modi's and Mr. Jaitley's big gamble. They expected that there would be a bonanza due to demonetization. People would deposit more money and not withdraw. So that would be with the banks and they can distribute that money. But actually, if you remember, sir, roughly 15 lakh crores were demonetized. But almost 15 lakh crores have been deposited. You ask the government how much money has been deposited. Mr. Jaitley will never reply. None of the ministers, not even Mr. Gangwar, who's deputizing for him, will reply because they do not know. The second question is, I've asked and not got an answer, that how much money would be required to remonetize, means printing of new notes. Till today, I have not got an answer from the government. My estimate is that it will be 20,000 crores. So for one decision of Mr. Modi, 20,000 crores. 20,000? Crores. For crores will be spent. Now how much extra tax have they got through demonetization? All this scrutinizing account, only 6,500 crores. So demonetization has been a total loss. The government say, we have won in UP. So what? Does winning in UP put money in the banks? Does winning in UP put money in the government coffers? No. The government took a gamble, and it was a risky gamble which crushed the small farmer, the artisan, the daily laborer, and one day the government will have to pay the price. Not in political terms maybe. The country as a whole, because Mr. Modi is such a good salesman that he can sell igloos to the Eskimos. He has no problem. He can go and tell that you buy X. He will give such a speech that, but that will not. Huh?
Igloos to Sahara.
Igloos to Sahara also. Why not? Yes. Sub-Saharan people. Now, sir, with regard to GST, the main problem I would point out that GST is to be implemented from 1st July. Tax revenues may not perk up in 2017-18 when crude prices may be higher and corporate profits growth weak. Centre has committed to reimburse state governments for revenue losses post-GST. Also guaranteed 14% growth annually. If the initial year of GST is poor in revenue accruals, then where will he get the money? If the first year does not throw up enough money, all this 21 lakh crores budget Mr. Jaitley has proposed, where will this money come from? I do not know. Early estimates, earlier it was thought that compensation to states would amount to 50,000 crores per year. But after demonetization, most states have seen a drop in tax revenue and compensation figures may swell to rupees 90,000 crores. The finance minister's pockets are empty. Where will you pay the compensation to the states from is not quite clear from the figures. The budget, hence, was a little more than exercise in damage control. It had a long list of giveaways and government programs in the context of demonetization hurting the economy, but little in the way of creating job-creating reform. 1 million people are joining the job market in India every year. In 2015, only 1,35,000 new jobs were created in this country. Every year we are creating an army of the unemployed. You look at Mr. Jaitley's speech. Where is the promise for giving employment to the people? You tax, you demonetize, you introduce GST, you talk big, you say infrastructure, but where is the job coming? That is the question. The budget encourages companies to remain small because they are giving concessions to smaller companies, but not to bigger companies. So they are saying remain small. You need not bother. The budget needed to do something to revise investment, since private investment showed no signs of recovery. Sir, Madam, I will end with putting 2 points. The government is going for privatization. Today, the finance minister announced that he is going to privatize, disinvest, Bridge and Roof Calcutta, Bharat Pumps, Scooters India, Hindustan Newsprints, 8 more companies.
Yes.
They are destroying the basis of the public sector. I totally oppose these disinvestment proposals of the government. Lastly, I say that this budget does not tell us how much black money the government has recovered so far. These finance bills do not show a way. The finance minister in his budget speech said that India is a tax non-compliant society. He has not laid down a roadmap by which he will be able to mop up more resources from the rich, give more relief to the poor so that the economy improves. With these words, sir, I end my speech on the finance.